Guys, we've got a new UFC middleweight champion, and his name is Dricus Du Plessis. I had to make sure I got his name correctly because a lot of you reminded me I was pronouncing his name incorrectly. Anyway, new champion, Dricus Du Plessis. And I'm happy because he was the guy that I picked to defeat Sean Strickland to become the new UFC middleweight championship. But there is an issue. We have a problem on our hands. It's very rarely you see a champion call out a contender. And that's exactly what we saw happen when Dricus Du Plessis took on Robert Whittaker and beat Robert Whittaker. You had a champion descend from his throne and put himself on the same level as that contender. You had Israel Adesanya walk into the octagon and basically signal to the entire UFC universe that Dricus Du Plessis was next in line for the title. Stop your thought right there before you saying, what the hell are you talking about? Listen to what I'm saying. You had a champion call out a contender for the UFC championship. And you might be saying, what's wrong with that? Well, the problem is that guy's no longer champion. Sean Strickland stepped in on short notice, and now he is the guy that fought Israel Adesanya. He is the guy that dethroned Israel Adesanya. So wouldn't that make him next in line for a rematch? Or even better yet, Dana White came out and said to the entire UFC mass, hey, the winner of Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev is next in line for the UFC title shot. That was supposed to be Khamzat's title shot. Khamzat was asked, hey, step aside or whatever the case may be, and he did. And now you got Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Dricus Du Plessis beat Sean Strickland. But what happens to Khamzat Chimaev? He was promised a title shot if he beat Kamaru Usman, that's what he did. And then you have the former UFC middleweight champion in Israel Adesanya basically saying he's coming back soon. This is a match in destiny. We're supposed to see each other. We're supposed to cross paths. And you got Dana saying, hey, we might do UFC South Africa 2024. Do you see the issue with that? Do you see how confusing that is? Because I confused myself by explaining that just now. That's how crazy and intertwined the UFC middleweight championship or UFC division has become. You got people being promised title shots, and you got former champions who were long-reigning champions stepping up saying, hey, I'm next in line because me and this guy got unfinished business. And then you got Sean Strickland saying, hey, I didn't lose the fight. I only lost the fight because I got headbutted. So what do you do if you're the UFC? What do you do? What do you do? I don't know what you do. I can simply offer up what I would do. And what I would do, I think you've got to do Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev. Let that be a title eliminator. That's what I would do. Is it risky? Sure. But you leave with less questions. Because then what happens to the winner of Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa? What are they fighting for then? Championship fight? Or the next guy to get the right to fight Khamzat or fight Israel or fight Sean Strickland? It's a weird title picture right now. That is why you don't promise guys you're next in line for championship fights, especially if you know that's subject to change. It's like an ad. This is subject to change. Well, that's what we have in the middleweight division. You're next in line for a title shot. It's like Oprah giving out car. You get a title shot. You get a title. It's subject to change. So now you have the fan base wanting Sean Strickland versus Dricus Du Plessis. You have the fan base wanting Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Du Plessis. You have a fan base wanting Khamzat Chimaev to finally get a title shot. And then it's about to get a lot weirder when you add Robert Whittaker or Paulo Costa, the winner of that, to the equation. Daniel, what say you?
Yeah, I think that it's very interesting. Let me just post two more things. You got two other guys, two guys that are young, two guys that are below the age of 30 years old, Bo Nickal and Brendan Allen, right? So we want to talk about the top of the division, right? We want to talk about Israel Adesanya deserves a chance. Khamzat Chimaev deserves a chance. Dricus Du Plessis is the champ. Sean Strickland could deserve a chance. But how about these next guys that are next up? Brendan Allen. He's got Marvin Vettori. If he goes out there and crushes Marvin Vettori, you could say he's next up. Bo Nickal, he goes out on UFC 300, goes and has a dominant performance. He's the next big thing, as Dana White says. He could be next. So I'm with you. I don't necessarily know what to do, but I have learned one thing, and you've taught me a lot about UFC. And the one thing I've definitely learned is the fans always get what they want. What I mean by that is it's up to the fighters to create a fight. Sean Strickland, Dricus Du Plessis, they created this fight. It wasn't supposed to be as big as it was, but they created this in the lead up to this. So my challenge to these guys, to the Brendan Allens, to the Bo Nickals, is to create this. If you want a title shot, Dricus Du Plessis earned his title shot. He earned it because he called out Israel Adesanya. He called out Robert Whittaker. If I'm the next guys, I'm looking at Bo Nickal and Brendan Allen, I am calling my shot now. Because I'll be honest, I think one of those two guys, if they go out and crush their next fight, I think they can jump, not Adesanya, not Chimaev, but I think they jump the rest of the division. And it's up to them. Go out there, promote yourself on social media. And I truly believe one of those two guys can do it.
It's a very interesting situation, to be honest with you. And I think this is the one time that I'm happy I'm not a UFC matchmaker. But I will say to you this. I believe what should happen is what I posed, right? Israel Adesanya, Chimaev. Because then there's the outcry of Chimaev hasn't fought a true middleweight, or hasn't beaten a true middleweight. So I believe that fight should take place. What I think is going to wind up happening is we're probably going to get Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. And then we're probably going to get Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Du Plessis.
Yep.
And the winner of that, whether it's Israel or Sean Strickland, will fight the winner of Strickland versus Chimaev. Maybe that's the best way to handle it. Needless to say, Chimaev is probably pissed. His camp is probably pissed because you think that, hey, we just beat a former long-reigning UFC welterweight champion who moved up in weight and looks to be staying there for an opportunity to fight for the middleweight championship, and here we are. Either way, UFC is parity. You got to love it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Who do you guys think should be next in line for Dricus Du Plessis' title? Should it be Khamzat? Should it be Israel? Should it be someone else? Let us know down in the comment section. If you like more video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content from the First Star Logistics studio.